Definitely have my good days and my bad days, just like everyone else. Even those who are living normal, regular lives that are up and walking again, they have struggles and they have um, things that are tough and make life tough. So everyone has those days. Everybody has those situations where they just don't know, um, you know, what to do next. And sometimes you just got to figure out that life is not always an easy road. You know, you're going to have so much um, stuff going on in your life that you don't realize a lot of the things that you're able to do, you're not able to do without that need of someone to help you or have time take over and be able to show you a way for you to understand and do for yourself. So, so yeah. So, beautiful thing that you're able to do it yourself. Oh, just. I'm gonna fix my shirt. My shirt. My shirt. Yeah, my shirt. Okay. Okay. Get that white part. Unless you're gonna see the way you are. Maybe you know you're gonna look. Alright. Thank you. 100 people just heard you. That was not me. That was Mark. Ah. Alright. Well, alright. So, without further ado, y'all, I wanna be able to talk to you guys about certain things. Um, Basically, when I have those certain days and things like that, sometimes I have bad days. But at the end of the day, I always keep a positive mindset. Um, if I was to say, when do I feel the most like myself? When do I feel the most like myself? I basically feel the most like myself when I have independence. When I'm rolling in my wheelchair and I don't need assistance with things. When I'm on my computer, I have independence as far as being able to use my computer and things like that. That feels the most like myself nowadays. When I'm watching TV, hanging out with family, you see more of myself. You see more of myself than anything else. Okay. Do you believe in soulmates? Alright. Here's the thing about soulmates. There's billions of people in the world. Right? Thing is that you can only see the soulmate of that person that you're with, or the cities, states that you're in. Say, for example, you're in Maryland, right? You're in Maryland, you find someone that you like, you find someone that's basically compatible with you, you automatically assume that they're soulmates. Meanwhile, you could have someone in an entire different state, maybe a state you've never been in before, that has more in common with you than you realize. That person could absolutely be your soulmate, but because you've never been to that state, or you've never been in that part of the area, or even some parts of the world, you'll never know, because you only believe that your soulmate is in the place where you usually are. See what I'm saying? So if you are you're just in the same state and things like that, you see people and other things like that, you automatically will assume that that's your soulmate. Meanwhile, there's so many other places in the world that people that are just like you, that have the same likes, same desires, same basically a lot in common with you. You easily could meet that person and you fall in love with that person, but you never know because you'll never see that person. You'll never see that person ever in your life, but that person could have been your soulmate in that other state, in that other place that you've never been before. See what I'm saying? So, a lot of people will just assume that they're soulmates in the places that there are, where they are. You know what I'm saying? They only assume for the people that they meet in the places where they are that that's automatically their soulmate. You can have people in different countries and other different places that can have more could be more compatible with you and things like that. You'll never know because you'll never be at those places. But your soulmate is the person that you see and the person that you're with in the same area that you are. Meanwhile, there could be another person that's in that same state and can be compatible with you and have everything that you ever wanted in a human being, and them too, to where you guys could fall in love. You guys could be perfect for each other. And your souls actually connect. But you'll never know because you'll never see that person in life. You see what I'm saying? So you can have a soulmate, but you can also have a soulmate that you never even knew about, never even heard about, and things like that. And they could be closer than you think. But you feel that another person has already stolen your heart, and you automatically assume that that's your soulmate. So, with that being said, I definitely believe that there's more than one soulmate. Right? Now, you can have a soulmate, but there's also other people out there that can be your soulmate also. Not just the person that you're with, and that person, you think that's your soulmate. Turns out that they were never your soulmate at all. And that person out there is your real soulmate, but you'll probably never see that person ever in life. So, that being said, I believe that there's more than one soulmate. And even though you have a feeling that this person is your soulmate, they're probably not your soulmate at all. You see what I'm saying? But you can think that that's your soulmate. But reality is, they're not. And your soulmate can be out there, but you have no clue. Alright? You have no clue that that's actually your soulmate. So that's just my take on it. Um, if someone was making a movie about my life, I would want them to start at the beginning. Start at my origin. Start at like my origin story. You know, start off at the beginning. You know, don't don't have any other sharp corners, but just continue to um all right. Sorry, y'all. Okay. So, if someone were able or to make a movie about my life, I want them to start off at the beginning. Start off with my origin, what made me me first, and then talk about the things that I was before I had my injury, and then the guy that I am now prior to my injury. I will want that. I want that. That'll be chapter 1. And that'll be a lot of chapters as far as, you know, talking about my life. Because it's a long story. And another chapter is being made every single second, every single month, every single year. So, what life lessons took you the longest to unlearn? What life lessons took me the longest to unlearn? Not pleasing the wrong people. Knowing that a lot of people are not your friend. Knowing that you can't please everyone and you can't be friends with everybody. You gotta understand that there's a lot of people out there that's on a different wavelength than you are, and they're moving in opposite directions than you are. And those people that when you're now older, you can actually see what they are and what their agenda is and who they are as a person, and you don't want to be around those type of people because you're moving in another direction where you're trying to better yourself, or you feel like that person is not on the same wavelength as you are. So, just gotta keep in mind that, you know, lessons will be learned, and you'll meet so many people in your life that you'll know if they're a blessing or a lesson. So, yep. What piece of advice would you give your 22-year-old self? Be patient. Be patient. Um, you're young. You're still going through things. You're still fresh right off the boat. And when you look 10 years from now and you still see me the way I am, don't get discouraged. Matter of fact, keep on putting God first and keep on praying and believing and pray hard so that God will bless you. And don't let other things from your life get you distracted. And don't let other things in your mind outweigh the thoughts that are truly of God. Keep praying, keep believing, so that you can get up. That's what I'll say to my 22-year-old self. Whew, my 16-year-old self. I'd say be smart. Don't be gullible. Be a leader, not a follower. You were born to lead. You were born to lead. You realize that when you were younger, that you were leading and people were following, but you weren't leading them down a path of destruction, but taking away from what they were doing that was wrong, and you turning into what they were that was right, which was being a kid, being able to live life, not be in the streets, not be, doing negative things, because the moment that you follow other people is the moment that you get in trouble. So when you follow other people, that's when you're falling down a wrong path. But when you're leading in another direction that is positive and not negative. So, what did you want to be when you grew up? I wanted to be a lot of things. My first thing that I wanted to be, I was probably 6 years old. Loved dinosaurs. So I wanted to be a paleontologist. Wanted to study dinosaurs when I was 6. Growing up, I wanted to be a musician. Wanted to be a entertainer, basketball player, football player. I wanted to be so many things. I wanted to be so many things that was entertaining to other people. I just wanted to entertain people. I wanted to entertain people, and no matter what I was doing, I was going to entertain people. That was what I wanted to do when I grew up. So many things. Actor, actor, um, musician, singer, songwriter, sports. As long as I was letting people cheer for me and shout my name and things like that, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted them to see. I wanted them to be happy when they saw me doing whatever that was entertaining to them. So, if you could change one thing about the way you were raised, what would it be? If I could change the way that I was raised, I wouldn't change a thing actually, because my mom and dad raised me very, very well. You're a teenager, you go through shenanigans and things like that where you don't listen to your mom or dad and things like that, but you're able to live throughout your teenage years, your 20s, and things like that. You're able to see everything that your mom and dad was telling you, and you're like, ah, I get it. I get it now. I definitely get it now. Absolutely. Thank you, mom and dad. My childhood was great. I had a good childhood. I wouldn't change anything about it. Even though our old neighborhood was pretty bad, it wasn't always that way. It's just unfortunate when I grew up there, the kids that I grew up with, they were bad. And they were definitely role models. I've seen things at a 9, 10 that a kid is not supposed to see. A lot of yellow tape where I was. A lot of yellow caution tape where I was. Definitely a lot of incidents to where you're like, wow, can't believe I went through that. And can't believe I saw that. Because there's definitely a lot of things that I've seen that a young kid definitely is not supposed to see when you walk out those doors. I was very, very not sheltered, but they kept a little bit of a tight leash on me for the most part, but at the same time, they kind of let me do teenage things, but I was like maybe borderline between good, bad. I was like right in the middle. I wasn't spot on kid because I had bad influences in my life, but I wasn't necessarily bad either. I was right in between because I knew right from wrong. Never drank, never smoked, never did drugs, never did those things. I did hang out with the wrong crowd, but after things happen, you basically move away from that. And you're able to find people that are more, who have the same, like, personality that you have, you know, and people you're able to hang out with also. So, what's a core memory from your childhood? I would say core memory from my childhood. Probably, um, probably hanging out with my friends. Improved children's program. Um, Met a lot of people there. It's my babysitter, turned care provider. Miss Viola, I remember. That was probably the most fun. You know, going from school straight to her house, playing with the kids. It's probably what I remember the most. So, alright. Things I miss about my childhood. I definitely miss my old house. I definitely miss my old my old room. Miss the yard. I Yeah, I just miss my old house. I grew up in that house. Loved everything about that house. I mean, except the kids there, but I loved everything else. It was our first house. I when I dream, I've been in this house for almost 20 years now. Yeah, it's about 20 years since we've been in this house. So 20 years, and I never dreamt about this house once. 20 years. When I have dreams of a house, I have dreams of my old house, sometimes Ivy Lane, down in New Jersey. But I've never dreamt about this house that I've lived in for 20 years. I've always had dreams of my old house. Growing up, old house. Those were the dreams. Do you have siblings? What's the dramatic like? What's the dynamic like? And What role did you play? What's one do you What role did I play? I played the older brother, mess with your younger sibling type role. Every phase that I went through, she had to go through that phase with me. Had a wrestling phase where I would wrestle her all the time, WWE style wrestling. I'd do moves and stuff on her. Uh, you know, if we definitely had another brother, then she wouldn't have gotten nothing probably. But my brother probably would have gotten most of my phases, wrestling phase, putting them in chokeholds and things like that, you know. Just loving every moment of our childhood together. So, but yep, that was the role. I played the big brother slash villain, you would say. What's one thing that used to be insecurity, but now you love about yourself? Um, I used to be insecure about probably my looks. They called me every head joke in the book. You know, big head, watermelon head, egg head, those peanut heads from the Proud family. Um, you know, hammerhead. Got a every head joke. Um, Probably the clothes. Uh, they made fun of how I dressed. You know, never really cared the way how I dress. Now I just want to be able to look presentable, look good. You know, where back then I could care less. It was like, as long as I have clothes on, I'm cool. And there were some times where you would look at me and think, is he wearing pajamas? You know, because I would have like an orange shirt that looked like pajama wear and some gray shorts or gray pants that had holes in it and things like that. And it wasn't really caring the way I looked. And it showed because I really wanted to impress people, wearing name brands and things like that. Aeropostale was big when I was growing up. Aeropostale and American Eagle. So those were those were big for me, and yeah, I definitely had some times where I was insecure about the way that I looked, the way that I dressed, and many things like that. So that was it. Nothing really that big. You know, I definitely could care less what people think now. But back then, I definitely wanted to get the approval from others. of how I looked, how I carried myself, and stuff like that. So, yeah. If money wasn't a concern, how would you spend your ideal day? Given to someone less fortunate. Yeah. Definitely given to someone less fortunate than me. That would be my everyday. I would give money, throw away money like it was nothing to other people that need it, you know. Money's definitely not an issue. I definitely would give to people less fortunate than I am. So, um, education, experience. What is your dream job? Um, my dream job? Being an entertainer. You know, being something that someone can see and be able to enjoy seeing me, you know, whatever it was. That would probably be my dream job. What's the best of piece? What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? Um, don't don't reveal everything. What's something you're currently struggling with? Procrastination. Being able to finish things that I started. Not going back to what I've already done and finishing them. What is one thing you're grateful for right now? Life. Life, God, having a second chance of living. If you could go back in time and change one thing, what would it be? Not leaving the house on March 20th, 2010. But what is to say what could have happened if I didn't leave the house and things were worse? You never know. But yeah, sometimes it's like, what if? But the question you gotta ask yourself is, what are you gonna do now? Alright. What motivates you? My life, my parents, knowing that I'm not gonna be like this forever. Being grateful for who I am. Imagine sitting at the table, all the older versions of yourself. What do you think you would talk about? What they would be most proud of for you? Versions of myself. Guessing you'll talk about my teenage years, my younger years. If you're saying all older versions, then you'll be saying like my 40s, 50s, 60s. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about the type of people that came into our lives. Talk about our folks. Talk about our family. Talk about our good times. Talk about some not good times. And definitely a lot of laughter. Definitely a lot of laughter at yourself. So, if you were frozen in time, when would you want to be unthawed? Probably the year 3000. Yeah. Year 3000. Kind of want to see what the future looks like. But honestly, I feel like if you froze yourself, you're going to be dead already. So, but wishful thinking. Say if you weren't and you were able to live, telling people I was born in 1993 would be fun. That'll be a fun one. Seeing people's reaction with that. If someone came to you for advice, what would the topic be? Someone came to me for advice. Topic would be, how would you be able to do things different now than what you did back then? So, biggest difference between your current decade and your previous one? Well, that's a good question. 2025 is different from 2015. A lot older. Seen things change. It's like I tell everybody, you change every 5 to 10 years. You're evolving. Your brain, your mental, and your physical. You're not going to look the same way you did 5 years ago. And you're dang sure you're not going to look the same as you did 10 years ago. You're going to be different. You're going to look different. You're going to look older. And hopefully you'll evolve where you're getting wiser and you're able to share light on what you're able to do as far as every decade is concerned. So, for example, if you basically 10 years ago I was 22. So from me being 22 to now, I probably would say I changed a lot as far as my mental. I was talking a lot of stuff that when I look back on, I would say that it's different now. You're changing for the better. You don't have the same mentality that you did when you were younger, or what you were able to do at that specific time, right? So, yeah, of course.